Good afternoon and welcome to Kicking COVID-19 with e-commerce. During the next 20 minutes or so, we'll be exploring the impact of COVID-19 on B2B purchasing decisions and come to a conclusion on how to improve your business in these difficult times. My name is Andrew Nicholson of Utilities 400, a software house who specialise in developing and delivering high quality applications for the business running on IBM i. And today I'll be your host for this webinar. Now, before we dive right into the presentation, first a bit of housekeeping. You'll notice that on the right hand side of your screen is the GoToWebinar Management Console. Within this console is the option that will allow you to ask questions. Now, due to echo and audio feedback, we find this the best way to record and answer all the questions you may have. We'll answer these at the end of the webinar during the Q&A session. If you're watching the recording or have further questions post-webinar, you can still talk to us on Twitter and Facebook using @Utilities400 and on our website uti400.com using the live chat, or you could always give us a call. Finally, if you miss anything during the live demonstration, don't worry, this webinar is being recorded. You'll receive a link to the recording approximately 24 hours after we finish the webinar. So pull up a chair, grab a coffee as we're about to begin. The pandemic has altered the way we work, and the modern IBM i enterprise must be ready to adopt new ways of conducting business in order to thrive in this new world. Today I'm going to take you through some findings within 3 prestigious e-commerce reports, but focusing primarily on the B2B Future Shopper report. You may be interested to note that I've condensed the pertinent points and findings from these reports and produced a white paper geared towards supporting the needs of the IBM i enterprise looking to capitalize on B2B e-commerce. This white paper is free to all viewing today and should be able to grab this using the management console on your right or scribbling down the download link on your screen now. If a pen isn't to hand, a link for a recording to this webinar and the white paper will be sent to you via email tomorrow. Now on to the findings. And first, I'd like to discuss the pandemic's influence on B2B purchasing decisions. We'll start with pre-lockdown data. Before the pandemic, respondents to the B2B Future Shopper Report 2020 reported that on average 41% of their B2B purchases were made online. The evidence contained within the report suggested simply that companies' revenues got bigger, so did the dependence on online. Looking at the trend for B2B, the 41% was a 24% increase of B2B purchases from the previous year. Indeed, the data going back saw an incremental growth of between 20 and 40% each year for the past 5. As such, even without the pandemic, growth within the online B2B transactions has been a big trend in purchasing for a good few years now. Indeed, these findings were originally predicted by Coleman Parks Research in 2017, when they suggested that both B2C and B2B e-commerce was growing at an exponential rate. They proposed that once implemented correctly, e-commerce is making huge contributions to the company it's servicing. Indeed, in the run-up to 2019, they forecast that almost 2 in 3 companies will see e-commerce contributions to business of between 21 and 40%. These forecasted numbers were actually shy of the real 2019 figures. We'll see these soon. So, big growth in e-commerce is leading businesses to invest heavily in these areas. The research revealed that for the main part, over 80% of UK trading businesses investing in the correct e-commerce strategy and platform is now prioritised over traditional bricks and mortar presence. However, please do bear in mind that this particular piece of research by Coleman Parks covered both B2B and B2C businesses. Looking at B2B alone, online presence is increasing. In the past 2-year run-up before lockdown, the survey found that 2 in every 3 B2B businesses were already selling in some form online. So the adoption of e-commerce has already gained traction in the 3-year run-up to the pandemic. But would this rise slow due to economic downturn during lockdown? Well, no. Looking at the numbers published by McKinsey in May of this year, they too have seen a growing trend for online B2B purchasing with a jump of 10% in online sales processes. So this is supported purchasing such as video calls, interactions via websites or mobile apps, and a 3% jump in e-commerce. And notice that the actual 2019 figure was 47%. A growth of 7% on that forecasted predicted by Coleman. Now, most noticeably, however, was the decrease in traditional models of sale. Inside sales or sales by telephone or email campaign have fallen by 11%. But perhaps most alarming of these figures is those of the in-person field sales representatives. Those numbers have dropped a considerable 37% in the space between May 2019 and 2020. These figures alone show that the pandemic has altered the way we work, and in order to thrive, the modern IBMI enterprise must be ready to adopt new ways of conducting business. This is the conclusion drawn from the findings within the B2B Future Shopper 2020 report. Wunderman Thompson Commerce completed this during late April, almost a month after lockdown had started to take hold. Again, a summary of these findings of the report within the Coleman report and McKinsey are contained within our free white paper. So, having discussed pre-lockdown and touched upon the impact, I'd now like to explore the ramifications the pandemic has had on B2B purchasing decisions. First, the B2B Future Shopper report found that many businesses are following a trend of moving from traditional sales representation to online transactions. 84% of businesses surveyed confirmed that they are now conducting business online without direct sales intervention. These figures included online transactions, telesales, email marketing, and other sales means. What's more telling is the drop in direct representation. During April of this year, 16% of B2B businesses were being conducted by sales reps. This is down a hefty 44% from the previous year. With the absence of sales reps, businesses had to rely more on B2B e-commerce, and it was clear that if you didn't have an online presence, you were in potential jeopardy situation. The report bore this out with findings that 43% of B2B shoppers changed suppliers because existing supplier wasn't able to offer online capabilities that they required. Indeed, looking at the numbers further, it appeared that 18% of all respondents had switched suppliers for all purchases due to COVID-19. Now, while the factors behind the switch were predominantly down to online, the 18% of all purchases also included other areas such as stock availability, a larger product range, and website stability. And this highlights the importance of a robust and reliable digital offering. Indeed, the survey stated that 38% of respondents, so almost 2 in 5, switched to a new supplier because of existing suppliers' websites had become unstable. Expectations too on how customers envisage B2B e-commerce to operate are paramount, with nearly 3/4 of respondents expecting a similar experience to that of, say, an Amazon. That's not to say that the offering needs to be open in architecture. Indeed, 54% of businesses are purchasing through a dedicated online portal. That's 4% up from a previous year. Now, these portals may be specialized in offering a tailored product for a particular customer or a market segment, depending upon login. So what are some of the key takeaways for the IBM I Enterprise looking at the situation as we see it? Well, clearly B2B e-commerce continues to grow. Indeed, it's more needed now than perhaps it ever was before. Direct sales representation has dropped considerably, with inside sales taking a hit too. This is a void that needs to be filled, and the business that can capitalize on this wins. We also discovered that 3 of the key reasons for businesses to switch suppliers was due to product offering, availability, and delivery. It's therefore necessary for the business to ensure that all its offerings are present within the B2B platform. The links between your systems and logistics are keen, and that you can monitor trends to allow you to add and remove products accordingly. A further key finding from the report was that purchasers expect an excellent user experience, and that the platform includes nuances previously only delivered by salespeople. But the workflow to complete this should be intuitive. The findings are clear that if you're not able to provide the products and services that your customers expect, they will switch to an alternate supplier. Okay, yes, this has always been the case, but in the world of e-commerce, a change to a new supplier can be easier than that of conventional sales methods. The conclusions are bold, but frankly not unexpected. First, e-commerce is the technology of now and the future, and if you're not offering online sales now, you should quickly scale your e-commerce technology and capabilities or risk losing customers. You need to provide a platform that not only meets their purchasing requirements, but makes it easy to purchase too. If you already have an e-commerce site, review it, collaborate with your customers to improve. If you're new to e-commerce, then reigning simplicity should be your primary focus. Next, you will need to make your offering relevant to customers. The content will include media such as video, case studies, pictures, reviews, and the like. The business should also take into account how their customers interacted with them previously and how they can transition this knowledge and support into the digital environment. As with B2C, customers expect an uncompromised experience. For example, when was the last time you visited Amazon to be told they were experiencing technical difficulties? Purchasers expect to be able to log in when and how they want and to be able to complete business seamlessly. For this, the back-end infrastructure must be robust. The IBMI is perhaps one of the most capable transactional platforms available to business. However, when it comes to outwardly facing your data, it can also be one of the most difficult to leverage without the correct technology. Based upon the findings presented, here's a quick roadmap of the key considerations the IBMI Enterprise should investigate when looking for a B2B e-commerce platform. Finding the right technology is one of the major concerns as identified by the Coleman report. Over 60% of those surveys expressed concerns on finding technology that would fit within their existing systems and processes. Even when the technology has been assessed, implementation of this technology has its difficulties. 47% of those surveyed within the Coleman report found integration with their ERP to be of great difficulty. Access to information should be seamless, and the information you see, whether it be on the ERP or the B2B e-commerce platform, should match. You should simply enjoy one version of the truth across all enterprise access points for information. There should be no waiting for batch updates or periodic interface runs. This real-time access to information isn't just for the benefit of the business, but it should be extended to the purchaser too. They should be granted, and of course this is where appropriate, access to valuable real-time information. So for example, when they're purchasing items, they can see what stock is available. Such technology adds value to the sales process, and access to real-time information on an order can remove the need for expensive customer service personnel to be on the phone all day answering questions such as, "Where's my stuff?" One further finding from the Coleman study identified the ability for the digital platform to be included for online detection and visibility. The importance of online search engines, especially Google, continues to grow. In March 2017, Google indexed 2 in 3 of every product manufactured in the UK. Now that figure is closer to 3 in 4. This, in turn, has meant that companies are becoming more savvy in terms of completing their search engine optimization, or SEO. As such, whatever platform the IBMI enterprise adopts, you'll need the flexibility to add relevant metadata or key phrases simply and quickly to improve your rankings in searches. The integration between e-commerce and SEO is a priority in most organizations. New adopters should be looking towards solutions that provide some sort of embedded SEO as part of their solution. This brings us neatly to content management. To manage SEO and day-to-day activities without IT intervention, your platform should use an integrated or open source content management system, or CMS. Within the CMS, the marketer will be able to add and change rich media, add promotions and manage SEO, while the manager may say, with the right privileges of course, be able to add budgetary information, price lists and the like. This is all fully integrated without the need of IT intervention with the ERP system. This should all be part of a bigger business model. Over 50% of businesses surveyed in the Coleman report discovered that human process, workflow, and cultural adoption was a major challenge to successful implementation. For example, in traditional person-to-person or telesales environment, applying budgetary control by name or hierarchical structure is a relatively straightforward affair. But within conventional e-commerce, this proves to be more difficult when adding elements such as an approval system and integrating in real time with the back-end systems. Consider then what human knowledge and interactions can be added as a great user experience within the e-commerce platform. These are just 6 of the fundamental considerations an IBMI enterprise looking to adopt B2B e-commerce should answer before making any decision. Answering these questions now will save much pain and costs in the future and will provide the best opportunity of success. But are there technologies that can support these considerations and more besides? Well, yes. There are technologies designed specifically for the IBM I enterprise. Indeed, we at Utilities 400 believe that all this and more is possible, and with a pedigree that spans over 3 decades, we have developed a solution that fits the modern IBM I enterprise's unique technological and business requirements without compromise. To this end, we built Show Me Webshop for on-premise IBM I server delivered e-commerce and its sister product, iEvolution Webshop, for cloud-based open platform delivery. To finish this webinar and before the Q&A session, I'll briefly provide a summary. Our technology makes selling B2B products every bit as simple as selling products to consumers. We work with you to discover your sales processes and use this knowledge to create a customizable online store experience applicable to your own unique business model. We provide an end-to-end technology that delivers everything from automated workflow and integrated business intelligence to SMS and rich email order confirmations, and of course, everything in between. With an IBM I technology experience accumulated over a collective 100 years, we've developed technologies that provide a real-time integration with your back-end IBM I enterprise systems. For anything from live stock levels, budget spends, financial postings, and more. We can provide real-time interfaces with all your IBM I backend systems or schedule postings depending upon your requirements. It's fully tailored to your own needs. We also include a fully integrated open source content management system as part of the solution. Therefore, SEO and day-to-day administration is no longer an IT task. Add rich media, create new pages, schedule and post seasonal or promotional offers, update and deliver new pricing and budgets, and more besides. We believe that we've developed a solution that provides the greatest flexibility for a modern business. We've taken great care to provide the flexibility to offer the best user experience available. A system that matches the expectations of B2C. Indeed, we can go further by adding elements such as in-memory searches, so as a buyer enters an item description, the system will automatically start refining and suggesting items based upon the letters entered. Now, it's these small attentions to detail that makes the user experience exemplary. Now, there's so much to talk about in regards to our own B2B solution, and should you wish to learn more, please do contact us. Today, we hope we gave you an insight into the impact of COVID-19 on B2B purchasing decisions and how to best improve through an integrated e-commerce platform. On to the Q&A session. Okay, I have a question here from John S. He says, is your system appropriate for the non-IBM I enterprise? Well, yes. Short answer. Our iEvolution webshop is a cloud-based system running from our server in North Manchester. We provide the interfaces necessary for your ERP, but if you wish to learn more, please contact us or me personally on anicholson@uti400.com to talk more on this subject. Be happy to do so. Another question from a Peter W. He says, I don't need SEO as our system would be closed. I think he means that it's a system just for existing customers. Can we switch this off while still having the benefits of CMS for media? Yes, again, the short answer. I'm sure many systems, ourselves included, will have the ability to switch off the SEO capability and have it as a closed system, more akin to a business portal. I discussed this with a vendor at the outset when you're talking about your requirements, just to make sure that it's part of a project rather than afterthought, because bolting this on as once it's been implemented could be difficult. So just make that sure that that's part of a project. And on that, again, if you have any further questions or wish to contact me, please use the details listed on the slide that you see now. Other than that, I'll wish you a very good afternoon and all the best. Stay safe in these difficult times, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Goodbye.